Hello again, dear students. Welcome back to this virtual session, or I must say, the second part of the virtual session on heredity, where we are going to learn some important terms related to heredity. So, let's start. So, dear children, chromosomes, the very important term which you should remember is what are chromosomes. Chromosomes, or the chromosome, is a thread like structure in the nucleus of a cell, and it is made up of, see, this is cell, this is the nucleus of the cell, and the chromosome is shown here um, in large form, and this chromosome is made up of DNA, and DNA carries genes. So once again I'll repeat, it is a thread-like structure present in the nucleus of the cell, formed of DNA which carries genes. Okay, chromosomes DNA का बना होता है, और DNA के ऊपर DNA consists of genes. A segment of DNA is called gene, or we can say gene is a unit of DNA on the chromosome which governs the synthesis of one protein that controls a specific character of an organism. Character we have already discussed in our previous video, okay, in the part 1. So gene is governs the synthesis of one protein that controls the specific character of an organism. It is actually, genes are actually the units of heredity which transfer characters from the parents to their offspring during reproduction. Now, the number of chromosomes in an individual is fixed. For example, in human beings, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, or we can say 46 chromosomes are present in each human being. Out of these 23 pairs or 46 chromosome, 22 pairs of chromosome or 44 chromosomes are known as autosomes. They are similar in structure, whereas one pair, which is, they differentiate between the between the two different individuals, like two different sexes, between male and female. So in female, the sex chromosome, the one pair is XX, and in males it is XY. Okay, so let's move on. Now the characters or traits of the parents are transmitted to their offsprings through genes present on their chromosomes during the process of sexual reproduction. Please remember, genes work in pairs. For every trait, there is a pair of genes. These genes may be dominant, both dominant, or one dominant, one recessive, or both recessive. Okay. Each parent passes only one of the two genes to the pair of each character. I told you that hereditary information is stored in the gametes. So in gametes, what happens? Chromosome number becomes half. So instead of 46 chromosome in gametes, there are only 23 chromosomes. So that is why I am saying that that is why I am saying that each parent passes only one of the two genes of the pair for each characteristic. Okay. Though the offspring inherits two genes from each parent, two genes for each trait from its parents, but the trait shown by the offspring depends on which inherited gene is dominant of the two. So now let's understand what is the meaning of dominant gene or recessive gene. See, dominant means which is more influential. Okay, so the gene which decides the appearance of an organism even in the presence of the other contrasting gene is known as dominant gene. Okay, for example, if a person is having a gene of tallness as well as uh, shortness, or I will say dwarfness, then the tall being the dominant is expressed in the personality of that individual. Okay, recessive now let us see on this chart first. These are the dominant gene and these are the recessive gene. Cleft chin is dominant. This widow's peak, this is widow's peak is dominant. Dimples are dominant. Brown and black hair dominant. Sorry, the freckles are dominant. Brown eyes, even free earlobes are dominant. Okay. uh, Now recessive gene is the gene which can decide the appearance of the organism only in the presence of another identical gene. Identical, by identical means उसके अपनी जैसी, means recessive के साथ recessive gene ही होगी तभी वो अपने आप को express कर पाएगी. Recessive means दबा हुआ, submissive. So this recessive gene cannot express itself in the presence of the dominant gene. It is, if it is present in the if it is present with the dominant gene, that then it will suppress itself. It will not express itself. Okay. Now another term is genotype. Genotype is the description of genes present in an organism. So if the organism is this and uski genes कैसी हैं, how is what is the description of genes, that comprises of genotype. And phenotype means physical feature. It is the characteristic which is visible in an organism. So genotype and phenotype. Okay, genes, genotype, the genetic constitution you cannot see, but phenotype means the physical composition you can see. Okay, next term is F1 generation, or we can call it first filial generation. When two parents cross to produce offspring, their offspring is called first filial generation or F1 generation. And second filial generation or F2 generation, when the first generation offspring cross among themselves to produce second generation offspring, then this offspring is called second filial generation or F2 generation. Right, children? Now, when a male gamete, please remember I have already told you the human male gamete is sperm. It consists of only half number of chromosome, means n number of chromosomes, that is 23 chromosomes. When male gamete fuses with the female gamete ovum, again having 23 chromosomes, during fertilization they make a new chromosome. For example, here it is shown that this is female gamete with 23 chromosome and this is sperm which is male gamete with 23 chromosome. So at the time of sexual reproduction they fuse and they make a zygote with complete number of chromosome, that is 46 chromosome, and the condition is known as diploid number of chromosome. Here the condition is known as haploid condition, haploid number of chromosome, half number of chromosomes. Okay, so this zygote The zygote then grows and develops to form a new organism having characteristics or traits from both the parents which it has inherited through the genes, जो उसके पास through genes आए हैं. Okay, the two genes or a pair of genes are responsible for a particular character that is always present on the corresponding position of the pair of the chromosomes. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day. We will meet in the next video with the proper explanation of the Mendel's experiment. Okay, so stay tuned and be happy